Welcome learners. Welcome to the second video on evaluation research. In the last video we have defined what is evaluation research, definition of evaluation, goals of evaluation and evaluation strategies. In this video we will cover primarily types of evaluation and questions under formative and summative schemes. So let's discuss what are the different types of evaluations. There could be many types of evaluation which is possible in research. However, the most basic distinction is between the formative evaluation and summative evaluation. So, what is formative evaluation? So, as you could see from the word itself, something which is forming, right? Formative. So something which is coming up. So maybe it is interested with, if you view the whole process as input and output, so maybe it is more related with the input part of it, right? So process, rather from process perspective, you could see that what all steps are going to be involved and how it is being formed. So this type of evaluation strengthens or improves the object being evaluated. So what we are trying to we are actually trying to define things in a more objective manner. So whether the delivery of the program or the technology, how well it took place, the quality of its implementation, right? The assessment of organizational context, personal procedures, inputs and so on. So this is what we are interested in when we say formative evaluation. And there could be different kinds of formative evaluation. It further includes several different types. For example, need assessment. So normally who needs the program? When we ask such questions, how great the need be and what might work to meet the need? If this is our interest, who needs the program, how badly it is needed, and what could be done in order to satisfy that need? So that is to do with need assessment. So normally, let's say training, and you could find the same word, training need analysis assessment. So who needs training and what kind of how it could be addressed, etc. So those things are predominantly from need assessment type. The next type of formative evaluation is evaluability assessment. So whether an evaluation is feasible or not, that is what we are interested in. Can stakeholders help in some way to shape the evaluation process? So that is to do with evaluability assessment, whether evaluation is possible or not, is feasible or not in a given setting or situation. The next is the structured conceptualization. So for example, concept mapping is something which is related with structured conceptualization. We begin describing some concept from the basics. So defining the problem or the technology. Three things are what we talk about: that what is the problem, what is the technology, what is the issue, and who are going to be the target population and the possible outcomes. So three things predominantly: defining the problem or technology or issue properly, moving to who are going to be the participants and the possible outcomes. So structured conceptualization. Next is implement evaluation. So monitors the fidelity, how well of the program or technology is being delivered. So that is to do with implement evaluation. So how well something has taken place. And process evaluation, which investigates the process of delivering program or technology delivery. So is it trustworthy, is it reliable, like what is the difference between implement and process evaluation, how well something or is it reliable enough, can we do that, can we rely on such processes. So something to do with trust factor. So implement evaluation is about that, and process evaluation is about the different kinds of steps or program or the measures which are taken place during the delivery of the program. So from right from start to end, how well it is being received, that is to do with process evaluation. The second kind of evaluation is summative evaluation, and as you could see, sum means like arriving at some number or what is reaching the end, that is sum. So it examines the effects or outcomes of some object. So whereas the input is the input and the processes are important when we were talking about formative evaluation, effects or outcomes becomes our primary objective when we are talking about summative evaluation. So what happens subsequent to delivery of the program or technology? So this is what we are interested in. So determining the overall impact of the causal factors beyond only the immediate target outcomes. So we are interested in that if something happens where it led to, there would be intended consequences, intended, that is what we call it as desirable, and unintended consequences as well. So are we noting down, or are we able to arrive at what all intended consequences of a given program or intervention are, or what are the unintended consequences? So that is to do with summative evaluation. So estimating the relative cost associated with the object. So that is also to say, can we assigning some kind of dollar value or something in terms of some monetary value, if we are trying to describe the cost involved and value, how much value could be derived out of it. So predominantly different types of summative evaluation are as follows. You have outcome evaluation, where whether the technology or program caused demonstrable effects on specifically defined target outcomes. So you have your technology or intervention and it promises something for the target population, so whether those effects are visible or not, so you want to assess that. That is to do with outcome evaluation, right? Impact evaluation, the overall or net effects. So what are the net effects? There would be intended part and there would be unintended part of the program as a whole. So you are evaluating program as a whole, the outcome of a program. So what all, plus the positives and the negatives, right? So direct and indirect, what all things are you could see on the other side of the tunnel. So that is to do with impact evaluation. And finally your cost effectiveness and cost benefit analysis, where you are trying to address the questions of efficiency. You are talking more in terms of standardized outcomes. So precisely to speak about dollar cost and value, that is to do with the cost effectiveness and cost benefit analysis. There are two more things to be discussed under summative evaluation. One is secondary analysis, where you re-examine existing data to address new kind of questions or use methods not previously employed. So maybe you have a literature which reflects well how something is to be evaluated, but you want to use existing data by to address new kind of questions. So you have discovered something and you wish to address new questions, or you are interested in using some method which were not previously employed. So that is to do with secondary analysis. And next is meta-analysis, where you integrate the outcome estimate from multiple studies to arrive at an overall summary or judgment of an evaluation question. So What is meta-analysis? Meta-analysis is kind of summative evaluation only. Okay, so this is a very important thing. You are trying to integrate the outcome estimates from multiple studies. So multiple studies, every study has some outcome. So if you try to integrate the outcomes of different studies and you are interested in providing an overall summary or judgment, then that is called meta-analysis. So that is also a kind of summative evaluation. What kind of questions we normally cover under formative evaluation? These 4 questions. What is the definition and scope of the problem or issue? So you are interested in defining a problem, so definitely you could use brainstorming, Delphi methods, lateral thinking, input-output analysis. There are different ways to define, to describe a problem, the scope or issue, etc. So what is it, and from where is the problem, and how big or serious it is? This is also a question of formative research only. How would you arrive at that, where the problem exists, source of problem? So sample survey or expert testimony will tell you this is where the problem is, or maybe focus group or interviews you could organize to arrive at how big or serious a problem is. Next is, how should the problem be delivered to address the problem? Now, having understood what is the problem, where is the problem, next is how should you move ahead. So basically it is to do with the technicalities of implementing the program. So you could run different simulation, you have multivariate methods you could use, or PERT CPM, for example, something related with operation research and all. So how this thing should be delivered or addressed, SIP approach, PERT CPM, those things could be done. Next is, how well is the program or technology be delivered? So do we have any qualitative or quantitative and quantitative monitoring techniques to arrive at that, how well the program is being delivered? So that is to do with formative research. So what kind of question? 4 different kinds of question. Under summative research, you have these kinds of questions and method. The first one is, what type of evaluation is feasible? So whether some evaluation is feasible or not, that is what you are interested in under summative research. So do we have evaluability assessment, or do we have an appropriate evaluation design? This is the first one. The next one is, what was the effectiveness of program or technology? So we are actually talking about 2 things. One is that whether desired effect occurred. How we will come to know? By simple observational or correlational method. You try to find out correlations, and you could see that whether something is happening or not in the first place. So you want to know whether desired effect occurred or not. And the next one is, actually you are interested in quasi experimental design or experimental design for determining whether the observed effect can be reasonably attributed to intervention and not to other sources. So something has happened or not, this is the first thing, and something that has taken place or that occurred should be reasonably attributed to the intervention or program, and it should not be to some other sources. So you are interested about these 2 things, and this, if you query only on one of the aspects, then you would not be able to actually answer this question, the effectiveness of a program or technology. So whether the desired effect is taking place, that is one, and whether the desired effect is purely due to, or to a greater extent due to, the intervention. and not to other sources. The next one, the last but not the least, is what is the net impact of the program. So econometric methods for assessing cost effectiveness, cost benefit analysis would apply here, and you would also apply some qualitative method to summarize if there are the intended and the unintended impacts of a given program or intervention. So that is all for in this video. We'll discuss more about evaluation research in the next one, where we'll talk about evaluation culture. Thank you.